Hello everyone, this is BERNINA Jeff, also known as Jeff, and today we're going to show you how I sharpen scissors. I have a stack of scissors here that I have another box full, so every Tuesday night or Wednesday morning I do these for customers. I charge $5 a pair for sharpening scissors. That might go up in the future, but this is how we're going to do it. First off, we inspect the scissors, and I'm going to open them up. This is a pair of pinking scissors, and they look pretty good. Now, I open the straight blade scissors up, and what I do is I look for the inside blade here, like my custom-made gloves, and what I'm looking for is to see if there's gum or goop on the inside, and I test the hinge. The hinge should be a little tighter than that. It's closing a little easy on me. And then these guys, they're good. So these are all good. So now I'm going to show you how we use this scissor sharpener. It's called a twice as sharp. This side, the wheel's getting really low, so I'm going to put a new wheel on shortly. And then this is what grinds the edge and gets all the dull areas off, and this is what hones it and makes it super sharp, like a razor sharp. And then this gadget here, it's a clamp, and this clamp is articulated so I can swing it back and forth. I can adjust the angle of the scissors, and this will clamp the scissors. So let's do an easy pair here first. Let's do this little short pair. So I'm going to put it in the clamp. I'm actually looking through the camera to do this, so it's all a little bit like writing your name in a mirror. So that's tight. Now I take it next to the wheel and see how close we are for angle. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a little bit more angle, so I loosen this. I'm going to turn on the grinder real quick and take a couple little bumps to see how my angle's doing. My angle's a little too steep, so I'm going to put it back in the hole here. Turn that knob, bring my angle up a little bit, tighten it back up, and just do a bump to see how my angle is. That's pretty close. For this one, I'm going to call it good. I usually go exactly to the angle of the manufacturer, but I can actually tweak it just a little bit there. So now I swing it back and forth, and this grinds off all the dull spots. So what I do is I take the edge of the scissors and shine it and angle it into the light and look for little shiny spots. And if there's no shiny spots, that one's nice and sharp. Then this guy will bring it over here to lighten the way. Lumens. You turn it over and we put it onto the honing or the buffing side. Very light pressure. If you hold this in one place, it'll actually burn the metal. So I'm going to look at this. It is good to go on one side. Now we're going to do the other blade. What I see a lot of people do is I see scissors in here that won't cut anymore. This goes this way. It's really hard to do this in the camera. And they sharpen the inside of the blade here instead of the outside edge here. And what that does is it creates a gap, and it will never cut that way. So I have to grind a lot of metal away. So I'm going to work on the other blade of the scissors, put it in the clamp. I've been doing this since 8th grade, since the early 70s. So now that angle should be still correct because we had it on the other side. So I'm going to take a bump, take a look. I'm going to bring that down just a touch, take a bump. That's a better angle. And then I'm going to gently go across. You never want to stop in a spot. If you stop, you literally can burn the edge of the metal. All right, that's good. So I'm going to swing it over to the finishing side, put it in the hole, gently tap. I don't ever change this angle. All right, we are good. Now, I let the scissors cool off so that it's cool to the touch, and it is. So now what I do is I gently, kind of as I close it, I'm kind of pulling the blades apart a little bit so they don't dig into that edge of steel. Then I take a paper towel and clean off any of that rolled steel. Actually, the edge will roll down, and then when you close the scissors the first time. Now, the tips don't always match, so what I do on the plastic scissors is this bumper here, I'm going to grind a little of that off. Okay, and then the tips get really, really sharp, so I just bump them just a little bit. Time for a test. A little test fabric here. Yeah, that tip grabbed on me once. Let's see if it's better. There, it's good. So that pair of scissors is totally done. So I love these Horn of America scissors. I actually promote them on my Shopify account. They come 4 inches all the way up to 9 inches. So they're an excellent pair of scissors. They're German-made scissors, and they have a nice adjustable screw and a nice handle that fits most hand types. So now let's go into a larger pair of scissors. So this is a Gingher style scissors. They're originally were German. These are chrome. They're a traditional type of angled scissors. Now what Ginghers have is a very steep bevel here and a kind of a flat bevel here, so it tends to be a knife edge. Now, if I were just to grind this, sometimes this chrome or the nickel coating comes away, so I'm going to take this on my grinder on the polishing side and take the edge of that chrome off a little bit, just an angle, so when I'm grinding it, it doesn't chip away. And this, again, this one needs adjusting for its tightness. So we're going to put this in the grinder, in the grinder, in the clamp. All right, and I'm going to bump it across here just a little bit, see how my angle's doing. Whoops, that angle's way too steep. I need to make it flatter. Bring that up, little bump. That's a little bit too flat, so I'm going to put it in there. There's just a little bit of room. I can push that downward, tighten that up. And there we go. We got an edge. It's just about right. Now I'm going to grind off all the bad spots. Look at how those Ginghers spark. I don't know if that's good steel or bad steel that does that. Sometimes it's just the coating underneath. Okay, I'm going to look at this off the camera here. All right, I got all the bad edges, so I'm going to flip it over and bring it to the other side of the sharpener. Make sure I don't do my microphone cord and cut it off. and gently push against here. Make this twice as sharp. Now, I am not overheating the edge of this. This system does not get superheated on the scissors. So I take the clamp off. Now I'm going to have to do quite a bit of adjusting on the angle of this one. So I'm going to put this in, make sure it's tight, straight across. Now, bringing this angle way up, even more. Give it a bump. Whoops, too steep. Now some of these Ginghers are steep, some are less steep. Okay, that's close enough. I'll be able to change the angle just a little bit like that. And now I'm going to grind all that bad edge away. Taking care never to stay in one spot too long. So nice job that does. I'm looking at it, I still see a couple little ding spots. If you drop a pair of scissors on the floor, the two blades bang against each other, or if you hit a scissors. I even had one pair where their son cut a live electric cord with it, and there was actually a weld spot where the electricity welded it. So I'm going to flip this around, come over here, and do my twice as sharp side. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I adjust the hinge or the screw on that. To me, that's just a little bit too loose. So I'm going to get my favorite screwdriver, and we're going to go to a vise because we're going to put that nut on the vise and loosen it up. So everything I have is used. I have some new things, but so I'm going to loosen the nut by turning the screw that way, and I can do that. Now, oh, might need two hands on this. There we go. And then hold that screw as I turn it back tight. And now I have, just see how it doesn't quite go all the way closed. That's what I like on the tightness of the hinge. So sorry for this contraption. This is actually a phone holder around my neck that I am using. Now, there are two ways to adjust the tip. You always want to make sure the tip comes all the way closed. Most rookie sharpeners, the tip doesn't close all the way. So this one's just about closing. There's two ways of doing this. You can grind away right there with my fingers rubbing, and that's probably a preferred way, and see somebody's already ground that. So since the chrome or the nickel coating is already damaged or away there, I'm going to do it that way. The other way is you actually can put this on a piece of metal and pound right here to straighten that angle out, and that angle will close those tips. But I'm just going to do it with the grinder here, because the other way takes a lot of practice. All right, so now we're going to do our test. What I'm wanting to see is that it's grabbing just a little bit at the tip. So I am going to grind a little more. Do my test. There, see how that just flows all the way through. So that's an 8-inch pair of Ginghers, all sharp, ready to go. The other thing I do is I take a little oil and I oil This pivot point, I open it up, and you'll actually see rust down in here sometimes. So I oil that a little bit. Now that scissors is good to go until you hit a pin or drop it on the floor halfway open. This has been BERNINA Jeff, also known as Sotec Jeff, showing you how I sharpen a pair of scissors.